been interviewing different Colorado rural water and sanitation providers for the past few months. We've been making a list of their questions from the water treatment plant to the distribution to the collection system all the way to the wastewater plant. What kind of problems are they having? And so that's why this year we went to Weftec and we took these lists of these problems and we asked different industry leaders about their opinions, how they solve those. You know, these are people who are doing this on the daily basis. So like example, water losses, how are people tracking them? How do they quantify them? Where can they get funding? Those are the kind of stuff that we're going to be talking about in the coming series, and I'm really excited to share with you. So stay tuned. About every 2 weeks, we'll be posting something on LinkedIn and YouTube. Enjoy.
And I believe Colorado has a group that creates SOPs, and they're made them available to anyone that's a member, but you have to pay to be a member. And so that lets all the small systems out of that.
So I worked at the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency in their Office of Research and Development for a number of years. And I can tell you that even 15, 20 years ago, we already had the data that we could detect PFAS in human blood. So we already knew that far back.
So everything that we design, we really put a focus on maintenance because we know that operator is going to have to work on it. It's a rotating piece of equipment. It's inevitable. So we want to make that experience easy, quick, and painless, to be honest. So
can it go in, the applications where it can go in is it can be any part in any water or wastewater plant? Like where do you see it used the most?
The membranes that we utilize at the heart of our membrane bioreactor systems are going to do an excellent job for those types of communities because we do what we call future proofing.
So there's trends in terms of who common offenders are, and then also that the boots on the ground have good contextual and anecdotal evidence to help kind of start where to look.
The president, Mark Turpin, calls it, we punch above our weight. Okay, we're a little company does big things.
And I've had engineers who have bought just our MBR and they said, you know, I think I can do other things a little bit cheaper.
So what options are out there to remove PFAS?
Yeah.
What are people using? What could we be using?
It'll work on influent, it'll work on effluent, industrial, municipal. It'll work in freshwater, brackish, seawater, drinking water, bathing water.
Can you tell me a little bit how you guys integrate maybe some customer feedback into your design and kind of how you guys have innovated over the years to your products?
So a survey will look for just that issue or those groups of issues. And there's a variety of ways to find it. Sometimes through smoke testing
I always ask is, well, what's your process goal? Why do you want to mix your tank? Thermal stratification is a really common issue in most tanks where it's hot.
In wastewater, what you need is flexibility and simple designs because there are no two wastewater plants alike. Each one prevents a different problem.
They don't have true total nitrogen limits, but the nitrogen is what enables the algae to grow. So the idea is to knock out the algae and that way prevent the algae from growing and then basically hitting their BOD and TSS.
Because the appearance is that on the surface, some of our externalities, so let's use the UV disinfection. You know, if you look at our packaged UV disinfection and you just compared it to the UV reactors, well, of course it's more expensive. But by the time you factor in all of the other things that are associated with that, the engineering, the design, all of the additional equipment, the control panels, the integration, all of that when you
wasted all that money just thinking.
That's right.
Treating 8 million gallons a month. They're selling meter registered too.
Oh my.
Yeah, so one story that I always like to say just from a kind of innovating or continuing to pivot and move forward was we were doing some switchgear projects for some customers in Texas, and it was a parallel project. There was witness testing required on that. And what we were able to do was actually bring them up to the factory, the customer, the engineer, the trades and folks from the general contractor and electrical contractor that were all involved. And then we're all there hands-on with the gear going through a full sequence of operations.
How important do you think it is for a business like Juperin to have that R&D department and constantly innovating in today's industry?
I think
a lot of rural communities have issues with like their SCADA monitoring and adequately having things kind of downstream adjust as their kind of intake water changes.
Yeah,
What do you kind of see?
yeah, sure. Setting up
We have a variety of technologies to, tackle some of the hardest environmental concerns that are out there. Things like PFAS.
Right. And so we've had engineers who have said, you know what, I'll do that and I'll handle it. And then after the first or second project, they come back, I think we'll go ahead and have you package that on the next one.